Okay, Assalamualaikum. I'm Dr. Tengku Aisha. For this CORENA presentation, I'm going to present a paper on managing social media information during the COVID-19 pandemic, and it's viewed from the theory of motivated information management perspective. So basically, this study is attempting to examine the use of social media and how people come to decision making about information search on COVID-19 based on the theory I mentioned earlier. So just to run through my slides, these are the things that I'm going to sort of pick up and try to present. I'm going to give a brief introduction of the topic, so literature review and the methodology used in the study, findings, and also conclusion and some limitation in future research. Okay. So let's proceed with the introduction of the paper. Okay, so as we all know, COVID-19 is a recent global pandemic that hit worldwide. In Malaysia, the first case was detected early in January. Okay, and as of recently, in August, there was 9,921 cases with 125 deaths. So basically, the government has, I would say, in my opinion, successfully managed the disease well, and right now we've seen a decrease in number of cases. So some of the efforts, as you can see here highlighted in red, are the information that I think is pertaining to how they distribute information and how they update the Malaysian citizen on the latest information about cases in Malaysia, and also through what are the guidelines that Malaysian citizens should follow. Okay, and the theory looks at how people manage information regarding health, and it's based on earlier theories such as uncertainty reduction theory, predicted outcome value theory, and also uncertainty management theory. Okay, so based on this earlier theory, AFIFI and WEINER and some other scholars, MORSE, decided to put in variables and conceptualize the process of information management, and look at it in terms of phases. So what are the phases that people go through in terms of managing information? And it addresses questions related to circumstances in which uncertainty is managed in different ways. And one of the things that is highlighted in the theory is that emotion is very important when you're trying to manage information regarding health related issues. Okay, and this is basically what the theory looks like. So like I mentioned earlier, the three phases: interpretation, evaluation, and also decision making. And of course, it starts with uncertainty discrepancy, which has been described by AFIFI and MORSE and WEINER as a process in which people decide how much they know and how much they want to know. And the difference in this may lead to emotions such as anxiety. So anxiety has been popularly covered in research concerning TMIM, and of course, dealing with anxiety with the information discrepancy determines how people evaluate information and how they choose to seek information and also manage information. Okay, and of course there are variables like outcome expectancy, which is people anticipating positive evaluation of information management and how to cope with the information that they get, and also efficacy. All right, and finally, of course, it leads to decision making in terms of the information management. Of course, strategies that have been covered in TMIM include whether people seek information directly or indirectly, and sometimes what they do is based on the interpretation and evaluation process, they choose to avoid information. Okay, and like I said, it's been used to look at health related issues such as decision to donate organs, decision to seek information regarding sensitive family health information, a decision to get tested for Huntington's disease, and also popular is sexual health information and how people deal with information regarding their partners. So TMIM also talks about the target. Who do you want to seek information from? All right, and this is a basic overview of what the theory looks like. And like I said, in trying to do this study, it's examining how people manage information from social media in terms of the TMIM perspective. So there are 6 main objectives. I want to look at first main source of information. And of course, information seeking behavior on social media about COVID-19 among the target respondents. I also want to look at relationship between all the variables involved in TMIM here, okay? And of course, I want to look at anxiety, which is emotion, as a mediating variable in the relationship between uncertainty discrepancy, outcome expectancy, efficacy, and also information management, okay? In doing so, okay, there are 8 hypotheses developed based on the study. Methodology was quantitative. We used cross-sectional survey. Main target respondents were undergrad communication students, and they were told to forward it to other staff members from IIUM. Okay, so basically it's IIUM community comprising of students and also staff. And data collection was just before MCO and during MCO, okay, and shortly before MCO ended. Okay, so from March to June, using G-Power software to calculate sample size, 107 is deemed as appropriate for the test, and also based on the number of predictors. So in the end, we ended up with 617 valid responses. And these are, like I said, the main measures used in the study. So based on the Cronbach alpha, reliability is okay and good for all variables in the study. So here, uncertainty discrepancy, anxiety, coping efficacy, and also outcome expectancy serves as the independent variables, while social media information seeking behavior serve as the dependent variable of the study. Okay, and based on this is a framework of the study where like I said, I propose 8 hypotheses. Okay, and these are some background basic information. So we are moving on to main findings of the study. So I'll quickly go through what I think are the highlights of the main findings of the study. And they were quite young, okay, so about 24. We tried to get more staff, but ended up with a lot more students and staff, okay, and they were mainly female. Majority were single because they were students, and most were Malaysians. So about 3/4 were Malaysians and the rest were non-Malaysians. And based on the study, it's interesting to note that social media is actually the main source of information to seek for COVID-19, as you can see here, compared to other types of sources like search engines, online news portals, and even professional health websites. And of course, television and radio is not the main source of information to seek on COVID-19, although news is also distributing information through these more formal channels. And they did, like I said, they mentioned that they used social media a lot. Okay, so as you can see here, more than half said that they always use social media to seek information on COVID. Okay, and based on this, the main type of information that they seek on various sources is country updates, general information, and also steps by local government, treatment options, and other types of information. So based on that, they want to know what's happening in their country and what are the steps taken by the government in order to handle information regarding COVID-19. Okay, and of course, like I said, social media is a popular outlet where you can see it helps people find queries on COVID-19, allows for efficient exchange of information, for them to learn about a topic that is not familiar. So this is very important in uncertainty situations where social media as a mediated source of information allows for information to be disseminated in an efficient manner about a topic that is very new and people are not aware of. Okay, so people share posts and they sometimes post links. So this is where you find out latest information from your Facebook or Instagram or Twitter friends. And based on zero order correlations here, as we can see, some hypotheses are supported, some are not. So this is the basic summary of H1 to H6. So all hypotheses between the independent variables and dependent variables are supported except for H2. So I did not find a negative relationship between anxiety and also outcome expectancy. So, but the rest were all supported. Okay, and in terms of 6 to 8, which I was looking at anxiety as a mediating variable, H7 and H8 had partial support, where anxiety was found to mediate the relationship between uncertainty, discrepancy, and outcome expectancy. And also anxiety was found to mediate the relationship between uncertainty, discrepancy, and social media information seeking. So I can hear is says that without anxiety, people don't anticipate a positive outcome of seeking information based on what they know and what they don't know. So you need to have the anxiety playing a role there. Similarly, when people seek for information on COVID-19 on social media, this is not dependent on how much they know and how much they want to know, unless anxiety is present there. So I would say overall, this study has proven that there's some support for TMIM, where information definitely depends very much on emotions. So if people are anxious about it, they try to seek information, anticipate positive outcomes from information seeking, and therefore makes a decision about whether to seek or not the information. Okay, and of course, one of the practical implications that you should consider TMIM when designing health campaigns to effectively create awareness in terms of COVID-19 as a novel disease. So consider people's emotions in terms of how you want to phrase words or designing your campaigns. And like I said, emotion is very important here in terms of managing information. So if people are anxious but they feel that information will be helpful, they're likely to seek information. Some limitation, other emotions are not covered in the study, so perhaps future studies can look at fear or also anger in terms of information management, how that affects people dealing with anxiety concerning how much they know and how much they want to know. And of course, considering that this study is cross-sectional, maybe a longitudinal study and also in-depth interviews is probably more useful in order to try to triangulate findings in the study. So that's it for my study on how to manage social media information regarding COVID-19 based on the theory of motivated information management perspective. Thank you very much for listening.